Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome into the Big Friday Kickoff podcast. I'm the sports director here, Emily Cochran. Joining me is our digital producer, Robert Restanio. Robert, we made it through week one by the skin of our teeth, but we did it. Got episode 1 out of the way. We're back here for episode 2.
Yeah, episode 2. It's exciting. We had a big first week, right? A lot of big upsets, a lot of big wins for some teams. We obviously had a lot of coverage on our station, so I think all in all, it was a good week. I think it was a good week for us as far as our coverage goes. I thought it was pretty smooth for the most part last week. And this week we're kind of excited because, we're starting to kind of get a sense of who's good and who the teams are that we're going to be watching for most of the year. So, I think we're pretty excited about this week too.
Absolutely. Speaking of big, if you're watching and not just listening, we got our Big Friday kickoff shirts
Matching
on.
shirts.
We look like we're about to go on a family trip to Disney
Right,
World.
I know. Yeah.
So anyways, just if you are watching, you can see that we're wearing our new Big Friday kickoff t-shirts.
That's right.
So
maybe we'll get some polos or something at some point.
Yeah, I
Mix
hope
it up
that's going to be our next thing. We both got the oversized, big, comfortable tees on. A lot more comfortable this week than we were last week, when it comes to what we're wearing.
Absolutely.
Alrighty, so let's just take a little look back at last week. Big Friday kickoff went to the Battle of Old Shell Road. We had so much fun out there. The band, the cheerleaders, me and Nick, our first time co-hosting together. I think Dacian did a great job on Band of the Week. Hal did a great job. I loved getting to go back and watch and getting to see Hal out at St. Michael.
Had his visor going.
He had his visor, out there at the stadium. And then in the middle of his live shot, Phillip Rivers is behind him, mowing the grass before kickoff. Phillip Rivers, good old Alabama boy, just doing what he does. So that was really cool that he was out there to catch that. But yeah, we had so much fun out at UMS Wright for the Battle of Old Shell Road. We got to sit down and talk to Kaplan Reed and David Lott.
Yep.
That was a lot of fun getting to chat with them and talk about this new chaos on grass since Terry Curtis retired. We got to sit down with first-year head coach Sam Williams, also talk about this chaos on grass. And I think that it worked pretty well against St. Paul's. This game went into overtime, correct?
Sure, yeah.
So, I think this was just, it's a 5A, 6A matchup. I did not expect it to be this close. We know that St. Paul's is pretty good, but I think as far as UMS goes, we didn't know what to expect because of this brand new change to this offense. So that one ended 29-28 in overtime. So good for UMS coming out the gate to keep it close against St. Paul's.
Yeah, St. Paul's obviously this is 3 in a row at the Battle of Old Shell Road that they've won. I think coming into this game, UMS returned a lot of players from last year, but with the coaching change, it was a little up in the air exactly how those players would adjust and kind of what they would look like. And, if you're St. Paul's, yes, it's a 5A school, but it's still your rival. It's a very successful 5A school. They're essentially even, as far as that goes. I'd say they're neck and neck.
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
I think St. Paul's had some question marks this year. And I think if you're them, you walk away with that win feeling really, really good about it. The team and
young team. St. Paul's is a young team. Got a lot of young guys coming in, playing, starting. When they started Friday night, started for the very first time.
Sure, exactly, yeah. And, you obviously had Tank, had a big game. We knew how good he was going to be. But, yeah, I think you feel pretty good about yourself if you're St. Paul's, that you were able to go out there in a big game like that on the road that matters a lot to both teams and pull out a win in overtime. I think that says a lot about the resiliency of your team.
I agree.
I think as you start region play, which they will this week against Baldwin County, you got to feel good about that going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was a really good game, one that we were interested to see. I think we got some answers in that one. Our game of the week, Saraland at Jackson. Saraland got the win in this one, but it was only 17-6.
Yeah.
We knew without E.J. Crowell that we weren't really sure what Jackson's offense was going to look like without him. They have other weapons. Landon Duckworth is an incredible quarterback.
They're very talented across the board.
They're extremely talented. And 6 points, but Saraland only got 17. So, this was just a very slow game. Not a lot happening.
Yeah, and it seemed like weather had a lot to do with it, I think Obviously, without having EJ in a game where the weather's a little rough and the field's not as great, you want to be able to rely on the ground game. And obviously, without him, one of the best players in the state, that's just going to be.
What does your ground game look like without him?
That's just going to be hard to do.
Exactly. And when high school football, you got to be able to run the ball. And when you take him out of that, especially with weather conditions, like you said. That score was interesting to me. So, I guess good, first win out the gate for Saraland. But
yeah, and, if you're both those teams, I think, that's just a measuring game for your team and how
it's like a preseason game.
Yeah, how you see your season going from here on out. Obviously, the big asterisk, as we mentioned, was no Crowell, but
Deshaun Spencer for Saraland looked really good.
He did.
At wide receiver.
Yeah. And, Jamison Roberts' first official as the starter.
Yeah,
he started
he's the
2
guy.
games. Yes.
He's the guy. KJ Lacey is gone. The KJ Lacey era is over.
Right.
Like, he's the guy making calls under center. So,
obviously started 2 games last year when KJ got hurt, but this is officially his team. And so you got to feel good if you're Saraland that you still were able to go on the road against a very talented opponent, regardless of them being 4A, and pull out that win. And if you're Jackson, you obviously have some takeaways from that game that you'll use going forward, but it's not going to have an effect on them.
No. They're going to get EJ back next week, and it'll be business as usual.
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
That's our game of the week. And then we had Bayside Academy at St. Michael. Holy moly. Cardinals won big in this one, 41-10. Junior quarterback Gunnar Rivers, 25 of 34, 255 yards, 5 touchdown passes.
Yeah.
Just had an absolute showing out there in their first game at home to open up the season. I guess Dad cutting the grass before the game might be like the good luck thing from now on.
Yeah. That's his pregame ritual now.
From now on. That's what I would do. I would be out there cutting the grass every game if my son was going to play like that on Friday night.
Exactly.
So that was a good matchup.
But and I think in that one too, it's very similar to Jackson, Saraland, even St. Paul's UMS to a certain degree. Like, this is kind of a rivalry over there, right? They're in different regions. It's a week 1 game. It's not going to have an effect on either of these teams' seasons. There are obviously things we could look at and take away as to what it says about St. Michael or Bayside, but I think really what it showed is like St. Michael's is really freaking good, and we knew
really
that.
Good.
And
we did know that, and Gunnar just, I think every off season he just continues to make strides, and I think this was just a big statement coming out the gate early on.
I think if anything, you look at this game and the Saraland Jackson game, and obviously we keep caveating it, but the no EJ Crowell, that is a big miss, but. The St. Michael offense looks like it hasn't missed a beat
pretty
from last year.
They picked up right where they left off.
Yeah, so I wonder if that going forward between Jackson and St. Michael will have any kind of, if that's any sort of a sign as to where each team's at. But again, I think once Crowell gets back, I think Jackson will look just like they did last year for the most part. You know?
I agree. Let's just talk a little bit about this one. Daphne at McGill. Our Natalie Williamson went out there to get some photos. Our new thing we're doing, Fox 10 first snap. Right. She did an awesome job. I think that those photos from the game look great. If you haven't seen them, go look on our Facebook page. She's so talented behind the lens. She's great on camera, but she's great behind the lens too.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah.
But the final in that one, also just like the UMass St. Paul's game, 29-28. This one didn't go into overtime, but McGill had the lead at one point. It was like 14-0, and Daphne just kept coming back, and in the end, Daphne got the win. Most points on the board.
Yeah, and I think McGill had pretty high expectations coming into the year. I think they brought a lot back, and Daphne as well. Under Coach King, like that's just kind of you kind of know what they're going to be every single year. There was obviously some movement in the offseason at the quarterback position in different places, but I think if you're Daphne and McGill, this is kind of the theme of week 1, especially with these games and at least the Battle of Old Shell Road in this one. If you're either team, you're probably pretty happy with the outcome, despite the loss for McGill.
I think for right out of the gate, week 1, first game of the season, for the most of the games we've talked about, even if you lost, you can't be really disappointed in the way that your team performed.
Sure.
Just based on the games that we've talked about.
Yes.
Another one, Theodore at Baker. Baker got the win in that one, 42-31.
Yeah.
Speedy Wheeler,
Mm-hmm.
great name.
Yes.
Speedy Wheeler rushed for 184 yards, 2 touchdowns on 20 carries, and a 9-yard receiving TD. We knew that Baker was going to be flipped from last year. Last year, defense was the name of their game.
Yep.
This year, it's offense.
Yep.
And so I think that they just proved that coming out the gate against Theodore Friday night. I mean, just a dominant win, dominant performance.
Right. Yeah, and you knew, they take Graham back at quarterback. Speedy Wheeler, obviously, he had a strong final 7 games of the year last year. You knew he was going to be the starter. Katori Marion, he's one of the best athletes in the state. I think he had 175 yards total in this game.
Yeah, one of our former player of the week.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. He was I think one of our favorite players last year.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Yeah, like you said, Baker lost a ton on defense, brought the offense back. We kind of thought that this is what they would look like,
Yeah. So let's go ahead and look ahead to this week. We do have some one Thursday game, actually.
Yeah.
Last week we had 3. This week we have 1. It's Milry at Washington County.
Yeah, and both these teams kind of coming off pretty tough losses.
Yeah. Tough. Pretty tough. I mean, Milry 35-0 to Citronelle. I mean, you got to keep in mind, yes, it's a 1A, 5A matchup.
It's a big discrepancy.
Is that really fair? I don't know. I mean, Milry's a pretty good team in 1A.
Sure.
I think Citronelle continues year after year under Jason Rowell to just get better and better and better. And I think that this year's going to be another example of that. But I think just coming out the gate, 5A, 1A matchup, how much do you learn in that? I think it's like a preseason game.
Yeah,
just coming out.
For sure.
You're playing against another opponent. You got the full pads on. I think it's just a good way to open up the season.
Well, and I think if you were going to have any big takeaways from this, it would be that Milry lost 25-28 to them last year.
Yeah.
And so the fact that it was 35-0 this year, Milry, lost a lot on offense in particular in the offseason. I think, to me, Citronelle, I wasn't sure what they would look like this year because I know they lost, Eli Owens, the really great athlete that they had last year.
Going to play the next level, yeah.
Yeah. Some of their key players on defense graduated as well. They brought some players back, obviously, but to me, they may be one of the bigger takeaways. I thought that just to go out there and take care of business like that, despite it being a 1A school, I thought that they were pretty impressive.
Makes a statement early on. Washington County, also coming off a loss.
Tell me what the Tootle boy did this week.
Oh, let me tell you. Let me tell you what Shamar Tootle did this week. Cottage Hill sophomore quarterback went 19 of 23, 234 yards through the air. He rushed 8 times for 89 yards and another touchdown. He's also got a pretty talented older brother, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, very talented family, and he looked awesome last week.
Yeah, absolutely did. So that's going to be our Thursday night game. Dacian Smith will be out there at Washington County in Chatham to bring you all the highlights from Milry at Washington County. So let's look ahead to our Friday games, the ones we have to keep an eye on. Big Friday kickoff. We're headed to Grove Hill.
Yeah.
Leroy at Clark County. Super excited about this matchup. An awesome storyline.
Yeah.
Good old small town football. I can't think of any other place I'd rather be on a Friday.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about this storyline. I mean, we just got done talking about it in our production meeting, but why did we pick Leroy Clark County, and give us a little bit about that background?
I think I love the storyline in this game. It has to do with the head coaches. You got Jason Massey, the head coach at Clark County, his first year as the head coach at Clark County. And then you got Chan Lowe, who's the head coach at Leroy. But Jason Massey used to be the head coach at Leroy. He's just taken over the head coaching job at Clark County. He led the Leroy program for the last 12 years, I think, and Chan Lowe's been his defensive coordinator.
Right.
And then at Leroy, they win a state title in 2022, go into year 2023. They win their first 6 games, and then week 6, Jason Massey, he's in the National Guard, actually, gets deployed. So his defensive coordinator, his also best friend, his mentor-mentee kind of relationship, Chan has to step in and take the reins, and they go on to win another state title in 2023. They go back-to-back, and I think that in itself is just awesome to face that kind of adversity. I mean, your head coach gets deployed in the middle of your season.
Right.
And that's got to be like a shock for the kids.
Yeah.
But I think that Massey knew he was leaving the program in good hands with Chandlo, and that's goes on to win a whole nother state title. So clearly he learned what he needed to from Jason Massey to make that happen. But Massey was deployed for a while.
Yeah.
Because Chan had to continue to lead the program all through the 2024 season. I think they made it to the second round of the playoffs.
Yes, I think Georgiana.
They lost to Georgiana in the second round. But in 1A, Leroy is it's a powerhouse 1A team.
Yes, absolutely.
Jason Massey really built that program up, and Chan has kind of taken it over and just kind of kept on rolling with it. So Coach Massey gets back. The Clark County job becomes available, and he's, interested in it, talking to Chan about it, and he's like, I think I'm going to take this job, but you've got to take the Leroy head coaching job.
Right.
I think it was kind of a no-doubter.
Sure.
I think it was kind of a no question. So Jason Massey takes the head coaching job at Clark County, and then Chandlo's elevated to head coach at Leroy. So these guys who are best friends, coached on the sidelines together for the last 10, 12 years. They go to church together. They're on the deacon board together. When I went out there, I went to both of their practices in one day. I got up and went to Leroy one morning, and then left from there and went to Clark County and got to talk with both of them. And Coach Lowe was telling me how, when I get done with practice, I'm going to help Coach Massey move his daughter up to college.
That's pretty good.
So that's how close they are.
Right.
And Chan Lowe just talked about, he's wanted to be a head coach since he was 19 years old.
Yeah.
And he said that everything that he's learned is from Coach Massey. He wants to do everything the Massey way. And so I'm excited to sit down with him, both of them actually, on Friday. We're going to have both of them join the show, which I'm so excited about. And I just want to hear more about this Massey way and just the impact that he's had on him. Because we know they're close. We know they're best friends. I also want to know what's it going to be like to coach against one another, because you have a leg up and a disadvantage because you know how each other works. I mean, the plays. They're both defensive guys, I'm pretty sure. So how's that going to work?
Yeah.
They're going to have to rewrite the playbook.
I know, right?
So that's going to be exciting. I think that's going to be a good matchup for Friday. And not just that. I mean, it's small town football up there in Grove Hill. These communities, the town shuts down when they come out and watch these games. I mean, the communities rally around teams like this for Leroy, for Clark County. So I'm excited about this matchup.
And two guys that are very familiar with the area. I don't think we realized it till we started doing a little more research in our production meeting. But, Jason Massey had been at Clark County before he went to Leroy for all those years. So.
And I did not even know that. And I went out there and saw both of them this summer, and I just did not put two and two together.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, you and I have only been here at Fox 10, in this area, doing this job for 3 years.
Yes.
And so you just learn so much year after year. We know what's gone on in the last 3 years, but as far as looking how far back, you have to look back and find these interesting tidbits of history that have been really cool to discover. So super excited for that. Obviously, we're going to have the band, the cheerleaders. We're going to have Dacian Smith's Game of the Week preview, Hustle and Hal's game. Nick Herboso is going to be out there with me doing the tailgate weather forecast. I think there's supposed to be some rain in the area.
Yeah.
We're a little nervous. So we'll kind of have to see how that plays out. Keep an eye on that tailgate weather forecast. So speaking of Game of the Week and speaking of Hal's game, let's talk about Dacian's game first, our Game of the Week. This one is a non-region matchup, but a big one nonetheless.
Yeah. Yeah, no. You got MGM traveling to the beach, right? I think last year when these teams played, it was an ugly weather game.
Yeah.
And MGM ended up winning that one. But, you look at MGM, it's been talked about all offseason how talented they are and just
got a new quarterback too.
Yes, yeah. And they kind of took care of business against a Pace team that's usually pretty good down in Florida. And Gulf Shores, played Choctawhatchee again this year, lost to Choctawhatchee again. Their offense is in a big transition with, the loss of Colin Wilson, who was kind of the do-it-all guy for them last year.
Yeah.
I think they like some of the pass catchers and weapons that they brought in, or that are still there and that they brought in the offseason. And, Judd Harris, he's going to be, I think this is year 3 as the starter. So, we don't know how much we could take away from the Choctawhatchee game, but I think this game will show us exactly how good really Gulf Shores is or can be. I think we know how good MGM is, and I think that the hype is real with them.
I'm on the MGM train.
Yeah.
I'm 100% on it. I think Zach Golson and what he's done with that program and the time that he's been there and the transformation that he's made is nothing short of amazing.
Right.
In my opinion. So, but I also I love Gulf Shores too.
Yes.
I love going to the beach. Every time I go, they're always good to me. I have a great time.
We like Coach Hudd a lot.
We love Coach Hudd.
Yeah.
I mean, he is so full of energy.
Yes.
All the time.
Yes.
I've never seen him not have energy.
Right.
If he has a bad day, I've never seen it.
Sure.
Because, those guys, he has them locked in. He runs his practice like a college coach would run a program. They would run a practice. And they just, both of these teams, I got a lot of respect for both of them, both their head coaches, what they've been able to do at their both programs. I think this is going to be a great matchup.
Yeah. And the other thing to mention, too, I think we both kind of have a bias towards these teams because I think we're both big fans of Coach Hudd and Gulf Shores. But the first player of the year that you and I picked was
Jared Hollins. Who's now the quarterback at South Alabama, backup quarterback at South Alabama. I just saw him this morning.
Yeah, right.
And just such a good kid.
Yes.
And both of these programs really do produce such good kids. It's beyond just the football.
Right.
The kids that come out of these programs, these coaches really are molding these guys to be great young men, to be good husbands, to be good fathers. And that's something that both of these coaches stress. And I think that's why teams like this have success, because they do pour so much into these guys and want to see them be successful off the football field just as much as on it. And I think Jared Hollins is a great example of that.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for this matchup.
Yep.
Something I have to mention, we remember Gulf Shores, their field last year, because we've talked about weather and how it might, there could be some rain in the area on Friday. Gulf Shores just got a brand new turf. And I don't know if you've seen the photos on Twitter. It looks so good.
Really?
And the little turf pellets, the pieces of tire, I guess, or whatever it is. Typically, most teams use black.
Right.
Gulf Shores has that teal color. That's the color of their pellets. Yeah. And it really does look so good. So anytime I go out to these turfs, I always I go out to these fields, I come home with turf in my shoes.
Right.
It never fails. I have to, get out and dump the turf out. Kind of excited to go to Gulf Shores and have to dump teal turf out of my boots, out of my tennis shoes and stuff like that. So I'm excited for this matchup. I think another thing I need to mention too is Gulf Shores just put out this Hard Knocks type.
Yes, it's pretty good.
It is good. So if you haven't gone and seen it, it's on their social media pages. I saw it on their Twitter. I guess it's not Twitter anymore. It's X.
X, yeah.
But whatever. Twitter. Yeah, it's actually really good. It's pretty interesting. I guess they're going to be doing it throughout the season.
I think so. Yeah. You and I watched a little bit of episode 1, and I thought I saw a new one the other day. So I think they're doing it throughout the year.
I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. I love those behind the scenes kind of things.
Me too. I wish we got to see more of that. I those are some of my favorite things in the world. So, okay, we've talked about our Big Friday kickoff game of the week. Now let's talk about Hal's game. This is a 6A Region 1 matchup. Theodore going to Spanish Fort. The Bobcats are trying to avoid their second straight 0-2 start after, kind of how they looked at Baker. I mean, I know it's a 7A, 6A matchup, but Spanish Fort looked really good in their opener against Fairhope.
Yep.
Our player of the week came out of Spanish Fort, Justin Juju Bonner.
Yep.
I love it on, you could hear it in Dacian's highlights because Dacian went out and shot that game Thursday night. You can hear it in the highlights, when he scores, the announcer is yelling, Juju, Juju. And I love it. I love it. I went out there and presented the award, and it's just so fun to go out to the Hill. That's probably one of the hardest places in my opinion, down here in 6A or in Region 1 in general, the Hill is probably one of the hardest places to play. Just top-notch facilities. It looks so good. I mean, how many other places have like a name?
Right.
I can't think of any other, like any place down here that has like an actual name. Like it's the Hill. Like you're going to play at the Hill. I just think that that's cool. Chase Smith has just done a great job with that program as well. And we know how competitive 6A is.
Right.
You know what I mean? For speaking, like for this is a 6A matchup. Like it's always those top 4 teams that are going to the playoffs. Like there's always a chance. Like we don't know who's going to be that 3rd and 4th team.
Oh, absolutely.
And Theodore and Spanish Fort are 2 of those teams that are both going to be trying to fight their way into the playoffs. And it all starts right here with this matchup.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see, Spanish Fort, and again, weather was bad last week for a lot of teams, and I think that Spanish Fort Fairhope game, it took them a while to get going, but once they did, you kind of saw. Obviously, Juju Bonner, the receiver, turned running back, and they obviously still have Aiden Schamberger there, probably one of the more experienced and talented quarterbacks.
In 6A, for sure. Maybe down here at all.
Probably, yeah. But for Theodore, I was a little surprised, that is a big physical team, and with the weapons they have, between J.J. Bush, Kendrick Abel, Krishawn Overton, they put up the points that I thought that they would. I was surprised they allowed 42 to Baker, but
I think correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like that one was close for a while.
It was.
I think that Baker scored 2 touchdowns late,
right,
and that was just kind of the nail in the coffin. So Theodore started off well.
Yes.
I think that the thing they're going to have to work on is just like you got to play a full game.
Right.
And another thing, it's early in the season. It's hot. They're having heat timeouts. Like, I think the early in the season, especially here in the summer, it really shows like who was doing the conditioning during the off season.
Right.
Like who can play a full game. And I think that they just kind of ran into that. That offense, that Baker offense, is going to wear you down.
Yes.
So I think that they're going to have to go up against a Spanish Fort offense led by Aiden Schamberger that they're going to have to take what they learned from last week against Baker and carry that into this week.
Yeah, and it is one of those where, styles make fights a little bit, and I think that both of these teams play styles that could make for a really good matchup between Theodore and Spanish Fort. So I'll be curious to see how that game plays out, because I do think Theodore is really good this year. I just wonder if they're in that situation that middle of the road SEC teams find themselves in these situations sometimes, where it's like their roster talent may be better, but their record may not be better because of the talent that they're going against every single day. So I do think Theodore is better than they were last year, but I just wonder if everyone else is also better or just the same, So I will be curious to see how that game plays out for sure.
Yeah. It's Theodore is another one of those teams like Spanish Fort. Like every year we see it. Saraland normally sits in that top spot, and then
2 through 4, it's always
up in the air.
Yeah.
It could be Theodore, it could be Spanish Fort, it could be St. Paul's,
and
now
McGill.
And it could be McGill. That's another one, and we also have Gulf Shores in the mix now that made the jump from 5A to 6A last year. So like, I'm taking my mic out over here, getting excited.
You hear an audio pop. She just hit her microphone.
It's my fault. You get me talking about football, and I get excited.
Right.
But so yeah, and I mean, and everybody says that 6A Region 1 is like the SEC.
Yeah.
And I like to say that Region 1 in general is like the SEC, but I'm sure those folks up north in middle
I think the 7A schools up north would probably have something to say about that.
You're right. You get your Thompsons and your Hoovers and your Phoenix City and Central Phoenix City. So like, okay, yeah, I'll give them that.
Every other region, though, I think you got an argument.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think it just speaks to how much talent is in the state of Alabama in general.
Absolutely.
And there's a ton of kids that come out of these programs in our state that move on to play at, not just D1 football, but SEC football, Big Ten. It's just like we have so much talent down here in our area. And it's just fun to see. It's fun to see them play on Friday nights. It's also fun to see when they move on to the next level.
Yeah,
so,
no doubt.
Speaking of that, we have college football this weekend.
Right.
We have a game right here on Fox 10 on Friday night.
Yep.
Auburn at Baylor.
Yeah.
I covered this a little bit this week. This is going to be, to me, an interesting one, and I won't harp on this one too much, but I think Hugh Freeze, in my opinion, is kind of in the hot seat. I think that he needs to come out of the gate swinging and get a win in this matchup. A Friday night game to really kick things off, to kick off the season. They got a new quarterback in the transfer portal. And we've got some local guys at receiver from down here. Perry Thompson's one of them. Yep. So hopefully get to see him break out a little bit more this season, headed into his sophomore year. So, excited for that game. College football's back. Like, I love college football. Yeah. I eat, sleep, and breathe college football, so I can't wait. Jordan Hare is one of my favorite places to go on a Saturday, so I'm ready for them to have a home game for me to go cover.
Yeah, my Kentucky Wildcats this weekend. Guess we got a big one against Toledo. All right, so
Robert, bless your Wildcats.
I think
I ain't heard nothing good about Kentucky during this offseason.
I know. I think we're only favored by like 8 points. So
against Toledo.
Against.
Oh, bless you.
Now listen, to defend myself a little bit, Toledo received some top 25 votes. They didn't make the top 25, but
excuse me.
They received some votes, all right? So it'll be a tough game, but I agree with you about Hugh Freeze. I mean, when you coach at a school that's won 11 national championships like Auburn has.
Are you making jokes? Because now they've claimed all those new ones. Oh, bless it.
Silly stuff.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, that's going to be an interest. Their season in general is going to be interesting to watch. Like, they've got to have improved quarterback play. I think that's just the biggest thing because of Peyton Thorne and how that looked. So, yeah, I think Hugh Freeze is in the hot seat.
Yeah.
But as we know, Auburn, they're
not very patient up there.
No, they're not. They don't really give you time to grow anything, especially the boosters and stuff. They like to have an opinion. It's like Jerry Jones is at Dallas.
A little bit.
That's kind of how I look at Auburn's boosters with their football program.
Yeah.
So, that's going to be interesting to see kind of how they do right out of the gate. Because, I mean, honestly, first game of the season, that's how you set the tone.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't care who you're playing against.
No.
That's going to be an interesting matchup. Georgia State and Ole Miss are playing this weekend.
Whoa.
Woo!
That's a big one.
It's going to be
Hey, week two, Ole Miss, Kentucky.
Oh my God.
We know how that one went last year.
The only advantage you have is that you're playing. What's y'all's stadium called? Kroger Field.
Kroger Field, yeah. Come get your groceries.
Ew, no. Yeah. So I think Ole Miss is going to be 2-0.
Well,
first 2 weeks.
Probably thought that last year.
Be quiet. It's completely different this year. You're going to be lucky if your head coach is still your head coach after the season if y'all don't pick it up.
It will be different. Y'all don't have Jackson Dart. That's a good point.
Okay. But, fair enough. Whatever. We won't go. We should. This podcast is not for us to go in depth.
Yes, it is about high school football.
For us to go in, not just that, but, for us to go in depth about Ole Miss football because I could sit here and talk about that all day.
Yes.
Another matchup that we have this weekend on Fox is Texas-Ohio State.
Right.
So be sure to watch that one right here on Fox 10. Kickoff in that one is at 11 a.m. Texas at Ohio State. So college football, Auburn at Baylor, Texas at Ohio State.
Yep.
All right here on Fox 10. Make sure you don't miss a second of that one. And then Alabama is also opening their season this weekend on the road against Florida State.
Oh, okay.
So that's also going to be a good one. I love to see Ryan Williams on my TV screen catching touchdowns on Saturdays.
Yeah.
So just a great kid all around. I'm so happy to see him have success, and I think this is going to be another breakout season for him. He's just been blowing and going during the offseason.
Yeah.
Every time I turn around, he's in a promo or a commercial or the video games. And
yeah, I think I saw where he donated I want to say, I thought I saw the number was $5 million.
I was going to say that sounds about right. $5 million to Saraland.
Well, this was some homeless initiative.
Yeah, the city,
yes.
The homeless, not the football team, excuse me, but the
city.
Yeah, the city.
I got you. Yeah.
Which, I mean, it just speaks. He really is a good kid.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many of these football players that move on and they get in the spotlight and they become a different person. Ryan genuinely is such a good person off the field. So to see him go up and have this success and to give back to his community. I mean, he just came home and did a camp during the summer, and just seeing him with the kids, you love to see that. You love to see kids that come out of these programs, move on, be successful, and come back and give back. Mm-hmm. I think that that's so important, and I love that he does it. So I wish him all the success in the world. He's been our former player of the week, our former player of the year. So, super excited for him. He's actually 18 now.
Yeah, right. I know.
Which is so crazy because he just seemed like now he just seems so grown.
Right.
So I can't believe that he went into college at 17 years old. That's insane to me.
And then we will wrap up our weekends with a way too early fantasy football draft on Sunday.
Oh, I'm so fired up. I'm so ill prepared.
I am too.
Terribly, because last year I had 17 fantasy teams, and then the year before that I had 25, because that's the limit for like what you could have.
Right.
And I haven't been doing fantasy football for long. I've maybe been doing it for like 3-4 years now, but when I got into it, I really got into it.
Oh yeah,
obsessed. And sometimes everyone's always like, how do you even have that much time to focus on it? And I'm like, when I'm literally laying down in bed at night before I go to bed, that's like the last thing I do is check my fantasy teams.
Yeah.
Like, it's the draft part for me.
Oh, of course.
The draft is my favorite part.
Yeah.
I want to get the number one pick. Like, I want to have like a really great wide receiver or quarterback. Who are some players that you're like going for? I'm so ill prepared. This is off the cuff. Like, I have not even thought about this at all.
I haven't. So I had 2 fantasy teams for most of my life, won several titles, highly decorated fantasy football player. I gave them up last year because of all the stuff we were doing with football season. I was like, I'm not going to have time to even focus on it. So this is me stepping out of fantasy football retirement and back into the game. So I haven't looked at anything yet. I don't know where I'm picking in this draft. I don't think the order's been set.
I don't even think I've clicked the link we're all doing it here at the station.
You need to go click the link and at least make your team.
Yeah, Braden Cheek sent me the link, and he came in my editing booth today, and he was like, "Hey, I need you to go click that link so you can join." I'm like, "I'm sorry, I'm busy. Got player of the week, Big Friday kickoff." Like, it just the world never stops turning around here.
So funny thing about when I clicked the link and I'm making my team or whatever, it auto generated a name. It was like Robert's Rowdy Team or something like that.
Are you gonna leave it that?
No.
I'm about to say this gotta change.
So I tried to change my logo to the Kentucky logo, the UK.
Embarrassing. But go ahead.
I couldn't get it.
That's how you know your team's going to lose.
I couldn't get it to load right. So I just
for good reason. That's God watching out for you.
So I figured my alternative would be I'll just be Robert's Wildcats. So my team name is Robert's Wildcats with a generic football helmet on there. And I was like,
we got to change that.
Yeah, I was like, this just didn't work out at all the way I wanted it to. But
yeah,
it should be fun. It's at 11:30 on Sunday again. A little early for me, but it'll be all right.
Yeah, that's typically the time that I watch church on TV. I'm usually watching Pine Lake on TV. I'm gonna have to get up and watch like the 9:30 service so I can be ready to draft. Because you can't draft during church; that might be frowned upon. But it is the South, so I don't know.
That is true. It may be allowed.
It might be allowed. Pastor Chip might not get so mad at me. He knows.
Yeah.
But anyways, okay, well, I think that we've covered all our bases. I think we've probably talked a little too much today. That probably should be it for us. But thanks so much for tuning in to episode 2 of our Big Friday Kickoff podcast. So much fun doing this. I can't believe we've already made it through a second episode.
I know.
This
Here we
is
go.
Fun. We get to keep doing this
now
every week.
We got a little bit of a rhythm to it. So I think we'll be good going forward.
We're figuring it out.
Yeah.
Well, alrighty. Well, we will be right back here next week. Be sure to subscribe to YouTube, then catch us on YouTube. Eventually, we're going to be all over the place.
We're supposed to be getting our feeds set up on Spotify and all that, but yeah, for the time being, we've got a YouTube playlist that you can subscribe to, and all of our episodes will be uploaded there, and of course they'll be on our website too, foxntv.com. Subscribe to our push alerts. We try and send it out as a reminder. Typically Thursday mornings, because we record these kind of late on Wednesday. So, but yeah, just you'll be able to find it. We'll make sure it'll be on socials. It'll be on our homepage. You'll be able to find it.
Yeah,
so.
we are. I mean, we are still new to this. We are still learning.
Bit, yes.
So give us some grace, have some patience with us. But we're having so much fun with it. Of course, Thursday night games kick off tomorrow night, one Thursday night game, and then all our coverage for Big Friday Kickoff on Friday starts at 8 a.m. in the morning, and we'll run throughout the day. And then I think Nick starts going live out from Clark County at 3. I will join him at 4 o'clock. We'll be out there from 4 to 6 with the band, the cheerleaders, live interviews. So much stuff going to be going on out there. Chan Lowe and Jason Massey going to join us, of course. And then after that, on the Gulf Stream, we have our Game of the Week extended preview with Dacian Smith.
Yep.
You help him do all that. You're kind of like the man behind the curtain while he's out there doing his thing.
Right, yeah. Yeah, no, and again, you'll be notified by that. Just subscribe to our push alerts. Dacian does a great job with those.
Yeah.
You know, might go 10 minutes, might go 25 or 30. So, you know, it's
you
really
never know
just
what you're going to get.
No, it's just how much he wants to talk, and he knows quite a bit about football, so he can talk a lot about it. So.
Yeah, he's definitely the football guru.
Yes.
The sports guru.
Yes.
He gives me a run for my money, that's for sure. And then, of course, you and I will have your halftime score updates, so be sure to tune in for those. That's always fun. We just try and get in there quick and get those scores out, so definitely pay attention to those. You'll send a push alert out for that. And then it all wraps up after college football on Fox, Auburn at Baylor. And then after that, we're going to come on with the highlights and the biggest games after the late news.
That's right. I can't wait.
Yeah, looking forward to it. So thank y'all so much for tuning in to the Big Friday Kickoff podcast. Glad you've been here with us in our new podcast room doing this new thing. And, we will see y'all next week.
See you next week.